name's Paul Rojas. A couple things about me. I'm an engineer, 6th generation Texan. I manufacture firearms for a living. So if there's anyone that knows what the Second Amendment means, it's someone that builds them for a living to put food on the table for my wife and daughter. Let's see. So the question was special interest APAC. My first event in Bernie a couple months ago, I was approached out of the blue. And the first comment out of the APAC representative's mouth was, we can fully fund your campaign and we can ensure that you win. You just have to get on board with everything that we tell you to do. Yeah, go ahead and think about that. It took me 2 seconds to say no. When I think about that, there's a lot of special interest, there's a lot of special money that goes into the government. There's 193 countries in the world. 179 of those receive funding from America. So when we talk about the deficit, we talk about all the problems that we have, think of all that money that we pay in taxes goes away from programs that could benefit American citizens and are going overseas. That was one of the reasons I jumped in. Another reason, when we think of all these executive orders that President Trump's done, what stops them? It is Congress, but at the end of the day, it's judicial tyranny. And that's one of the issues that we need to put forefront, is fighting to ensure that these judges are held accountable, whether it's the local, state, or federal. If you make a bad call, you need to be called on it. We've seen it in Seattle, we've seen it in California, we've seen it across the country. How many times have they let a repeat offender step out, hurt a senior citizen, hurt a young mother, hurt a child? That needs to end, and with me, it will. Going back to being a firearms manufacturer, I deal with the military, I deal with Native American tribes, I deal with local law enforcement. One of the things that a lot of people don't talk about is the white-collar crime. White-collar crime, when we think about it with the cartel on the border, yes, we can build a wall, but the cartel's smart. So we have all these issues where they know how to funnel money through businesses, and what happens? The DAs don't do anything, the judges that are on the payroll look the other way or throw a ruling out. We saw it in Minnesota, a guilty verdict was overturned by a judge. You need to ask yourself why, and we need to hold those people accountable. I'm Paul Rojas, Rojas for Texas. If you have any questions, I'll be here.
Thank you, sir. Is Mr. Cahill here? If you are. Howdy, Jason Cahill.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jason Cahill. I'm a veteran, I'm an oil and gas business owner, and I'm a father of 4 young children. And those 4 young children are the reason I'm standing in front of you tonight. So those 4 children, like all of you, didn't get to choose their parents. They get to choose where they were born, or how they're raised, or where they're going to live. But as their father, I get a choice in their future. And I don't like the way that future is looking. 2 years ago, we all remember what the world looked like. And I had to worry about my now 8-year-old son, 6-year-old son, who came home from Bernie Elementary School with a book that indoctrinated children into homosexuality. This is not Austin, this is not San Antonio. This is in Bernie. And these are things that the federal government was pushing down our throats that we couldn't do anything about. I have to worry about my 7-year-old daughter sharing bathrooms with boys. Have you ever noticed it's always the boys that want to go into a girl's bathroom? It is never, ever the girls that want to go into a boy's bathroom. And now I have to worry about something I never thought I'd have to see again. And that's Sharia law. I've seen it firsthand on the ground in Iraq. See, my fight for the Hill Country didn't start when Chip Roy announced his retirement. My fight for our families, your family and you, that started a long time ago. When the towers went down on September 11th, I went out. I was there day number 1 for Operation Enduring Freedom. That's Afghanistan. And I was there day number 1 for Operation Iraqi Freedom. And after my tour of duty, as a civilian, I made the active choice to go back to a war zone as an intelligence contractor because it was the right thing to do. That's the kind of fight I have in me for this great country. In 2007, my father had a heart attack. My mother called me and asked me to come home and help out. I went home to Midland, Odessa, and I built an oil and gas exploration company from the ground up. And I did that all without having a single business line of credit from a bank. Think about that for a second. I built an exploration company, an oil and gas exploration company, without ever going into debt. Imagine what I could do in Washington, D.C. We've been doing this all for a few months now. I've been a politician for 90 days, and I'm proud of that. I don't have a perfect political resume. I have not been checking boxes with the intent of one day running for political office. For me, this was a lightning rod when I found out Chip Roy would announce his retirement. And I wanted to make sure we had the very best of us. Because Congress is supposed to be a citizen legislature. It was never meant to be what it is today. It was supposed to be the best of us. Shopkeepers, business owners, people that actually involved in the community to get together, to go to Washington and do the common good. My wife and I have been members of this community. We live right down the road in Vernon. We've been members for 17 years. We can't let it slip away. The unfortunate truth about this and these speeches is you can't really know who we are after a 5-minute stump speech. You can hear the rhetoric, you can hear the lines, all of the talking points, but do you really know the person that you are electing to represent you and your family? And I encourage you, please, each and every one of you, look in the eyes of every single candidate here. Look them in the eye, see what they're about, figure out who they are as a person. When you do that, come to me and you will see the sincerity in my eyes when I say to you, I won't fail you. I won't fail you because I can't. So I fail you. I fail those 4 young children. And that's not something I'm willing to do. I'm Jason Cahill. Thank you for your kindness and your attention.
Thank you, Jason. All right, now we have Peggy Wardlow.
Howdy. I want to thank y'all for coming out and for the organization that put this together, because it really allows people like me who don't have a lot of PAC money or something just to give you who I am. So who am I? My name is Peggy McCormick Wardlaw. My maiden name's McCormick. It's out there on the old 300. We have a ranch up north of here, just Williamson County. It's been in our family since 1852. And there's a big sign on the barn that my great-great-grandmother said, you can eat dirt, you can go naked, but never sell this land. So far we haven't sold it. I'm also a mother of 6 kids. And you know what? Every one of those 6 kids is a hard-working, tax-paying American citizen. What else? I'm a small business owner, and you know what else? I'm a petroleum engineer. And my first job in the oil field was in Andrews, Texas. And it was the first time they'd ever had a woman on a roustabout crew. And they weren't sure about me. Till about the 3rd day, you know what? I was out there in the pickup truck. Pickup truck stops. There's a big old rattlesnake right there in the middle of the road. And you know what? Those guys all piled out, and I just hauled out after them. They were throwing rocks at that snake, and I went over on the side of the road like this, picked up a big giant rock, walked over that rattlesnake and just dropped it on its head. Never had another word from them about me being a woman. And when I finished, I got one of the greatest compliments I've ever had. They said, you know, you've changed our opinion about women in the oil field. And I'll tell you what, I am running because I have talked to hundreds and hundreds of people in Texas on airplanes and grocery stores, because I decided I am sick and tired of people telling me, oh, people who voted for Trump, I just can't understand it. Or people who voted for Biden, I just can't understand it. Because you know what? After I talk to those people, 95% of them, I don't know when I'm finished talking to them if they're Democrat or Republican, because you know what? We all want our families to be safe. We all want. I have 3 kids who own a house and 3 kids who don't because they can't afford it. And you know how to make houses more affordable? Two things: less government regulation and allowing immigrants into this country to build our houses. Because I'll tell you what, having lived in Texas my whole life, except for a short time in Alaska and Colorado, I came back because I like Texas, and I like Texans, and I like our attitude that we want to get shit done. And this may rile you up, and I don't care, because I don't think a damn Yankee ought to be telling us about immigration. I think we need to ask the people who live on the border how to fix this immigration problem. And when we have people here who are working, who are hardworking, who are paying taxes, and you know them, I bet every single one of you knows someone who's here without papers. And they work hard. My cousin, who owns about 5 sections in the Panhandle, he is a fervent Trump supporter. And he has a farmhand that's worked for him for 10 years. And he has tried and tried and tried to get papers for that guy. And he can't do it because our stupid immigration laws are broken. And any time somebody goes, oh, we're going to pass a law to allow more legal immigration, there are a few people who go, oh, that's so terrible. No, we need immigrants in this country who are going to pay taxes, who are going to obey the law, who are going to keep their children in school and learn English. And if you do that, I think you ought to be able to work in this country legally. And the other thing I feel very, very strongly about is health care. Obamacare has worked kind of, but it's made the cost of health care go through the roof. We need some kind of health care reform. My name is Peggy McCormick Wardlaw, and I am in favor of common sense, common ground legislation. I am so tired of our government just saying, oh, Republicans proposed that, we're going to vote against it. Oh, a Democrat proposed that, we're going to vote against it. We need to work together to resolve the issues that are facing our country. Please go to votepeggy.com and you can see what I'm standing for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, now we get to questions. All right, so we have lots of questions, lots of candidates, okay? So we're gonna limit your answers